and welcome to GreyNoise University. I'm Brad Chiappetta, and this module is part of our GreyNoise API and CLI training series. In this module, we'll be covering the IP RIOT endpoint and reviewing examples. The IP RIOT endpoint is the primary API endpoint to use when you desire to get additional information on an IP address that is part of our RIOT, or Common Business Service, dataset. The IP RIOT endpoint is a single IP lookup. There is no bulk or multi-lookup endpoint for the RIOT dataset. When using the single IP lookup endpoint, the IP address is appended to the end of the API URL, which makes it easy to use. This endpoint uses a GET request. For usage monitoring, this endpoint consumes one search each time it is used. This endpoint will return a status code of 200, meaning that the request was successful and the IP address was found in the RIOT dataset. A 400, meaning there was an error with the request, such as an invalid IP address being sent to the endpoint. A 401, meaning the API key provided was not valid. A 404, meaning the IP address was not found in the RIOT dataset. Or a 429 if the daily rate limit was reached. For this endpoint, the only input needed is the IP address to look up. If we enter a sample IP address into the reference page and click the Try It button, we can see what the request's response looks like. Let's run this same request in the CLI by copying the curl command from the API docs. I'm also going to use a tool called JQ to make the output easier to read. In the response, you can see that all of the metadata that is included on the IP details page for a RIOT IP address is available. This includes the RIOT flag, the provider name, the trust level information, and some basic other information. This concludes this training module. If you have any questions on the topics covered, please reach out to support@greynoise.io.